Imagine turning micro movements in the NASDAQ market into real profits, live right before your eyes. In my live streams, I'll take you straight into the action of scalping NASDAQ futures. Watch as I analyze price action, volume, and order flow to identify scalping opportunities in this fast paced market. You'll see my trade setups, live executions, and detailed performance breakdowns, all in real time. Stay tuned and follow my journey as I work to master the art and skill of scalping NASDAQ futures. Good morning, good morning. Happy Monday. Hope everyone's having a great morning and a great trading session so far. I have had the weirdest morning, but I'm green. So whatever, I guess. But it's been a very weird morning. 57. Very weird. Good morning, Amelia. How are you this morning? So, this is how my weird ass morning went. First of all, I forgot about the Apex halt. So my very first trade I took, it was like trading halted. I'm like, fuck. So of course my Apex accounts are usually my leaders, so I didn't get into the trade. I don't really think I would have gotten filled anyway. I'll show y'all that a little bit later. So then I had to take time putting TPT as my leader. I typically like to use the account that I'm using the least number of contracts on, although it doesn't really honestly matter just because of the way my copier is set up. But that's typically what I do. So yeah, so I had to take time setting up that I did not miss any trades in the process. So then the next trade I take profit, as you guys can see, and I'm like, why is the top step account still going? So at that point, I attempted to, so essentially because the real trade took profit in 1 second, there was no time for the top step accounts take profit to even print on the screen. So inside of Rhythmic, it's showing that it rejected the order because I was already past the level, I guess. I don't know. So essentially, the copier, well, my risk manager ended up having to take me out of it. Basically, it took me out at the daily profit target. And that was my morning. I'm gonna try to find the trade for you guys real quick. But yeah, so that was my morning. And then I just literally missed a trade right before I got on stream. I kind of zoned out for a second. So this is the trade that I actually took. So you can see I took profit at the right spot on the leader, but the followers didn't take profit till down here when the risk manager took me out. Because I actually did hit flatten, but nothing happened. So I did my like hotkey for flatten, and yeah, nothing happened. So we're just gonna be grateful. Okay. So I won't be trading the top step accounts anymore. Basically, it's just going to be all TPT today because that's all I have left to trade. Good morning, New. How are you? Good morning, CV. Good morning from Discord. Good fucking Rick. God dang it, Janelle. Good morning. Ah, what is up? What is up? Did you do your new routine of pre-market? And what did you trade? That's gonna switch there. So yeah, I haven't had it set up besides those 3. So one, like I said, I wouldn't have gotten filled on. I highly doubt. There was only like 0.02 seconds between the close of the bar and the bar I would get filled on. So I highly doubt I would have gotten filled. But the second one is the one I actually took, and then the third one I absolutely would have gotten filled. I just completely zoned out. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I have no idea. I just zone out sometimes. It was this trade right here. That sell rotation level was not there at the time. But yeah, I definitely would have gotten filled right here. There was like 103 volume there too, so definitely would have gotten a fill, but whatever. So yeah, I'm trading 5 contracts on both Top Step accounts. I told y'all last week I was supposed to be multiplying contracts on like 4 out of the 5 accounts because one of the Apex accounts and one of the Top Step accounts actually renews on Wednesday and Thursday. And I forgot until I started, journaling for the week, setting up my journal for the week. And I was like, what the fuck? I only have 2 trading days on this Apex account to go or blow. And then we're halted today. How fucking nice. So tomorrow on that account, if it's no longer halted, I'm just going to completely full port with 10 contracts and whatever happens, happens. Because I think I still, on that account, I need like 2,500 to pass it. So we'll just, completely full port it and go from there. No trades, pre-market still sitting on your head. Oh, the red is from your portfolio then. Yeah. Considering getting a fucking job. Oh, no. I honestly wonder how long it's going to take for the market to recover, honestly, because we've been bleeding. We have been bleeding. Yeah, we've been bleeding. That's all I can say about that. But I definitely, I wonder how long it's going to take. 50, 24. I definitely went through yesterday and looked over a couple of setups because there were some setups I would have lost on Friday that I didn't take. So I kind of went through and refined a couple of things. It was mainly my counter trend divergence and then 24. Nope. Yeah, it was mainly counter trend divergence and the regular, oh shit, sorry guys. And it was also the regular pullbacks when there's more volume in this swing than the previous one, like what just happened. It was mainly those 2 that I had to look over for the most part. 28. Almost. Another thing I have to be careful of that I noticed on Friday, and I used to do this, is when the zigzag is not attached to the entry bar. And what happens is, like, let's say this is my entry bar. If the high of this bar equals the high of the previous bar, but this bar closes down, the zigzag is actually going to attach to the previous bar and not the current bar, basically is what happens. So it only attaches to the current bar when it surpasses the price of the previous bar, if that makes sense. And so I used to not take trades if that happens, and I have to go back to doing that because there were 2 trades on Friday that I sat out of kind of for that very reason, because I had a feeling and they followed my typical rules, but they lost. And so when I went over those particular setups over the weekend, just to make sure like it wasn't the actual volume and order flow pattern, it wasn't. It was literally just the fact that the zigzag was attached to the previous bar And so I'm going to go back to doing that. So I have to be really careful and really pay attention. It doesn't happen often. It just so happened on Friday, it happened twice in one day, but typically it does not happen that often. But it's something that's really easy to remember though, because I used to do that. So your take profit. Yep, CV, that is correct. Good morning, Trenches. Yep, my stop loss and take profit are both 4.5 points, which is very tight on the NASDAQ. And that is why it took me an entire year to put the strategy together. Because, I mean, I'm trading the most volatile instrument during the most volatile hours. And I want a tight stop loss and take profit with a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio at that, right? So you can imagine how long it would take anybody to do something like that. But I was so determined. I knew eventually I would figure it out. And I actually, honestly, I wish I could find where I wrote it down, but I literally wrote down that I was giving myself a year to figure it out. And I mean, even though there's a couple of little tight spots in my strategy that I'm still like working on, like 97% of it has been done since that year mark, which is pretty cool. So yeah. Yeah, you definitely get the money fast, but you lose it fast too. let's not forget about the lost part. But yeah, it's been a wild ride, I'm not gonna lie. But it's been worth it. 32. It has been worth it. 5. There's no way the counter trend will work. But yeah, I've traded every way you could possibly think of. I used to be a multi-week swing trader. I've been a multi-day swing trader. I am now, this is my first time really scalping for the most part. I used to intraday swing trade. I've traded almost every candle type you can think of, and except probably range charts, for range bars for the most part. But I've done tick charts, Heikin-Ashi, regular time-based candles, Renkos, obviously. I've done volumetric bars. I've done everything. Okay. I've traded from sun up to sundown. And that is kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to scalp. I want to know my fate within 10 seconds, and good or bad, I don't have to worry about it anymore. Next setup. There was nothing worse than sitting there for an entire session just to not get any setups, or get one setup and you miss it and oh well, on to tomorrow, but you sat there for 5 hours. I can't. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to scalp. I wanted to be able to get on the charts and be off the charts within 2 hours and go live my life. I don't want this to be treated like a job where I'm here all day. Do I have any video? No, not yet. Not yet. Yes, you should. So one of my next videos is probably going to be on like pretty simplistic market, like how to analyze market structure with volume without having, I mean, you don't really have to use Renkos, but it's kind of good to, just because Renkos is going to give you the most accurate reading for the most part. But you can still do it on candles as well. But just kind of teaching some of the basics of volume, and it's, you don't have to change anything that you're doing or anything, but to just understand that, because a lot of people, for whatever reason, and it could just be that maybe they never came across the information, but you know, I see a lot of people who will think that we're in a strong downtrend just because you're creating lower lows, and that literally means nothing. You know, I know a lot of people who do not trade with volume whatsoever. And so it's really important, regardless of what candle type you use, to understand how volume plays into market structure, because just because the market makes a lower low does not really mean anything. So it's a lot easier for me to see it on Renkos though, because with Renkos, the volume is going to always pretty much attach to the current bar, whereas with regular candles, that's not always the case, because a lot of times, especially if you're using like zigzags or you're using volume indicators that tell you how much volume is in the swing, they repaint a lot on regular candles, and that's because it'll typically consider a swing once you've had, well, you can define it, but a lot of times it's like so many candles in that swing, and then it paints to show you that that's the swing, if that makes sense. So sometimes, even if you use maybe a bigger Renko size, if you like to intraday swing trade, being able to use a bigger Renko size to actually see what the market is doing volume wise can kind of help with your strategy, even if you continue to use regular candles. That makes sense. But yeah, so I have like a multitude of setups, but for the most part, I just pretty much trade divergence and regular pullbacks. I trade counter trend divergence and divergence in the direction of the trend, and I also trade pullbacks in the direction of the trend and also counter trend as well. I've been trading for hours because it was just moving left, yeah, and I ain't got time. I've been that person. I tell everybody about my experience with when I used to multi-week swing trade. I used to do it on Forex, and let me see, I think I would have, yeah, that would have been a break even. And so I was in a GBP NZD trade for 2 weeks. Okay, 2 weeks. I was in a buy, and it came like, I think I was in a buy, and I was 10 pips away from it hitting my take profit. And then it reversed, and for like a week straight, it just consolidated back and forth, 11.25 have to be a trap. And so it just consolidated back and forth for a week, came close to my take profit again, didn't hit it, and then I ended up getting stopped out after 2 freaking weeks. Pissed isn't even the word to describe how irritated I was. Because back then, I didn't really use a trailing stop or auto break even, no, nothing like that. It was just, all or nothing, basically. So yeah, it was at that moment that I was like, And I was trading other pairs. I was in and out of other trades at the time, but it was just the fact that I was in that trade for 2 weeks. It came within 10 pips twice and then stopped me out. I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. Pretty sure after that is when I switched to intraday swing trading. Yeah, 2 weeks. Listen, I got stories for days, all right? I stopped trading. So I did trade binary options on Nadex for a while. There was a guy named Jack Gleason who used to run Major League Trading. From my understanding, Major League Trading is still going. There's a guy named Eric, I think, that runs it, and I only know that because he now trades, well, we traded futures then anyway, but he trades with Apex because he's in a Discord that I'm in, and he'll ask questions sometimes. But anyway, so they had a really, really good program for trading binary options. They had a couple of different setups. One was called like a butterfly, and then there was like a charge trade that you took pretty much around the open. Like, it was a really good strategy. But I can't tell y'all how many times I lost my binary options trade because the price closed 1 tick on the other side, or close right at the strike price. After so many times, it was those moments that I was like, we're done here. I can't. I was done. Y'all hear me? No. And then that's when I got back into futures. Yeah, binary options had me all the way effed up. It did. So that's my story with Nadex. Yeah, a lot of people have never heard of Nadex. Nadex, I loved binary options though, I can't lie. Because it was like you had to be right, but you didn't have to be all the way right. Like this scalping, I gotta be all the way right. Like there's nothing in between, you know? So it was kind of nice. Even if you just a little bit right, you won your money. And a lot of times I would take trades pretty much like at the money. I did have certain trades that I would take out of the money as well. Those were more of the like, weekly expirations and stuff like that. But yeah, I've had a time in my trading career. I have. Excuse me. Look, Janelle's like, hell no to binary options. Listen, I feel you. I absolutely feel you. Not the most fun time, I could tell you that much. Let's see. What is the price of that? 86? Yeah. All right. We finally kind of had a little breakout. We got to get away from the VWAP though. I don't trade there. White line across the screen is always going to be the middle VWAP. I trade the order flow VWAP, so I do have all the 3 deviation levels, top and bottom. So any squiggly lines you see is just the VWAP, and I just make sure that the middle one is white so I can, because I don't have any other white levels on my chart besides the current high and low, but those when they paint are triangles, so I will never get them confused. But for the most part, the only thing you see on my charts are just different versions of half trends, 2 of which I use to kind of you can see a zone that I draw that kind of lets me know when we break it that we changed trends. And then if we start trading back into it, like right now, it's showing me that the uptrend is not that strong because we immediately kind of rejected the VWAP to push back in. But anyway, everything else on the charts are just different levels of support and resistance. I use the current open high low, the prior day open high low close. I actually have a support and resistance or super pivot indicator from Ninja. And then you're gonna see like these rotation levels. Those are painted with a market structure indicator. And that's really it. And I really only use that because like if I'm trying to get into a sell and let's say one of these levels is a sell roll, no, let's say this buy rotation goes through here, I'm not gonna take the sell at all because we're kind of like rotating over it, which is not good. And then also it's needed because if I'm in a sell and we hit a buy rotation level, I'm gonna break even there because most of the time we're not gonna push through it, we're gonna bounce off of it. So but that's really it. Support resistance is just to tell me kind of if I need to break even possibly, and then everything else is just volume and order flow. That's pretty much it. 20. All right, push too hard up there. So something else I just started doing last week because I lost a trade like this. When we have a new shift change or trend change like this, I do like to take the trade if we kind of use the zone as resistance to push down. However, and typically when we rotate like this, so the previous bar touches the bottom, the entry bar touches the top. However, there was too much volume in this swing. There's 519 in that one, but the previous swing up was only 179. So I don't like to take the trade like that because what that tells me is we're attempting to reject the downtrend because we just pushed, the buyers took over a little too much right there on the shift change. So that is something that I just kind of recently discovered. $66. Nope. I was trying to take the sell here, but there was buyer delta in that seller's bar or downtrend bar, so couldn't take it. Got a long list as well when it comes to this trading game. I swear, I promise you, I tell newer people, like, y'all don't understand how easy, and I say easy because of the opportunities that you have to make money now. You know, when I first started in 2014, um, there were a few prop firms out at that time, but they weren't like prop firms wasn't really a thing that you were interested in. You know what I mean? Eventually, I did trade with FTMO. I don't think I ever passed with them. I do remember that I didn't pass, but I did get my account back to like in profit. Because with them, as long as you got back in profit, since it was a 30-day time limit, you got a free reset basically. But after that, I never even attempted again because by then I'm pretty sure I was like, F this, I'm going back to futures. So I still had, before they stopped taking US customers, I still had a challenge account in there after all of these years. But I'm telling you, when I found out the cost of futures props, I was like, why the hell would anybody trade Forex? Unless you are just that gung-ho about currencies. I don't understand why you would ever in your life trade a Forex prop firm. Like to spend $600 on one challenge. What? When I saw the price of futures, I said, baby, where have you been all my life? Where? So I once I understood prop firms, I hopped on real quick. But I remember when my best friend first told me about prop firms, I was like, I'm not trading nobody else's money. What if I lose their money? They gonna come kill me. He's like, girl, what are you talking about? And he kept trying to explain it, but I was like, we not doing that. No. 132. Nope. That was almost what I was looking for. It's still one anyway. But yeah, I was like, Can we use trade both ways instead of a bounce and reject opposing each other? Wait, what that mean, Trenches? I don't get what you asking me. Both ways instead of bounce and reject opposing each other. Yeah, what do you mean, Trenches? But didn't get the payout. 500 for a test. I said this can't be life. I promise you. Do you know how many futures prop accounts I could buy with $600? What? Futures instead of Forex. I've been hooked ever since. Yeah. And I got burned plenty of times in Forex from data manipulation and things like that. So I already knew I didn't really want to trade it, but at the same time, the reason why I, as well as a lot of people, end up sticking with Forex for so long is the lower cost of entry when you do get into your own account. And that was honestly the only reason why I stayed in Forex as long as I did. Because, I mean, you could legit turn $100, $200 into some money, you know? Whereas, no, you still need to hit margin requirements and things like that on futures. So I understand why people stick with Forex from that aspect. But again, now that we have more opportunities, you know, I really think it's insane that people trade CFDs in the first place. Unregulated Forex truly is. And they also don't understand how their data is so different on different brokers because you know, there is no centralized exchange and things like that. How the heck did I cut myself? I'm over here like, why does my hand hurt so bad? So it's just them being uneducated. The spreads. I met someone who likes to scalp in Forex, and I'm like, how do you even attempt to scalp with the spreads over here? Like, what the hell? Mm. I don't know. Looked at Forex and said hard pass. Yeah, that's the opposite. I was like, I'll trade with their money and go. Yeah, I feel you. But see, I just didn't, my mindset, I just didn't understand at all. Cause I think also I was thinking about it from like, you know, the traditional prop firm, not this online prop firm thing. So I was like, bro, I don't feel like going through it. What I got to do, get my series. I didn't know. I was so uneducated when it came to it, and I just was like hard pass, like trading somebody else's money. I could lose my own money, but I feel so bad if I lost somebody else's money. But that was just my mindset. I wasn't understanding of it at all, at all. Like bounce off the floor. Really check out the ceiling you use to reject for rejecting not. Oh, I get what you're saying. Okay, so I do take trades when it's bouncing off the top or the bottom. The only thing is that it has to be a certain volume pattern though. Like for instance, if it, let's say it's creating a new, let's say I'm taking a buy off of a new session low, the order flow pattern, the current, first of all, if I'm taking a buy, the buyers have to be in control of the point of control. That's number one. And there has to be less delta in my entry bar than the previous reversal bar up. Because that's the only way to have true volume divergence, essentially, which is what my counter trend divergence is. 39. But anyway, so yeah, and then the other problem, and I was just telling my best friend this, my counter trend divergence is kind of strict right now, but there's a couple of patterns that I think might work long term, but I just haven't kind of figured them out yet because I just been making tweaks to other things. And so eventually when I stop paying attention to other stuff, I can start looking at it a little bit more. Like I was just looking over certain things last night, like, okay, this pattern is still working out, so I think I'll be okay with trading it, kind of thing. So eventually you'll start seeing me take more counter trend divergence trades. It's just I have to gather more data for them. Now there are certain patterns where it's just not, it's not it. Like let me see if I can find one. Like there's one particular pattern where out of all of the examples that I had when I stopped tracking it after like a month and a half worth of data, every single time it set up, it lost. Well, if I start seeing it win now, I don't really care because by the time you average it out, it's going to either be break even or it's still going to be losses over time. Because the other thing is when the market is like super trendy, certain things work out just fine, but then when the market's choppy, it don't work out so well. And so that's the other problem is I want to trade patterns that's going to work in both markets because I don't want to have to determine when we're trending, when we're starting to chop. I don't want to determine that. So, and then the other thing is a lot of times when the market is pretty trendy, I tend to have more setups, right? So if I have let's say 50% more setups and certain things are working that wouldn't work in a choppy market, I don't really care that I won on a day where I would have 15 setups, because even if I take out those, let's say 5 trades that would have won, I still won 10. Whereas in a choppy market, it's gonna lose, and I'm already not gonna have as many setups. On a choppy day, I might have 5 setups if I'm lucky. So if 3 of those 5 lose, but they normally win in a trending market. But now I'm negative on this day for no reason. It kind of averages out for me to just take the trade out, if that makes sense. That way I could be green on both days. Especially because we don't know when the market's gonna do what, you know what I mean? So but yeah, the term reject instead of, oh, I get you, Trenches. I get you. I don't know. It's just preference. Good morning, Paul. I don't know. Reject just takes so long instead of just bounce. Maybe that's why. I don't know. All right. I'm still really just kind of waiting on something. Still just waiting. Most of these, well, I'm kind of in a place where I can't trade right now anyway. Mainly because we had the initial rejection coming back in. I say reject sometimes, but I mainly say reject when we change trends and we're like rejecting the change of trend. But everything else, if it's a level, it's bouncing. All right, so maybe I can get something now. Let's see, we got 14. Probably won't set up the way I want it to, but we'll see. Just gotta remember, we got a double bottom start down there. Nope, I immediately can't take it. It's greater than 0. What does a 5-minute chart look like? I don't understand why. Yeah, okay. I guess it kind of makes sense. It's 15. All right. Kind of was trying to figure out why I haven't had another trade in a minute. But I did have one at 9:15 that I sat out of, so basically it's been 15 minutes. All right, that's not that bad. Used to hearing bounce at support and reject the resistance. Oh, okay, well, yeah, that makes sense. I guess for me, I just think of like it's just bouncing off of a level, but that does make sense. And honestly, I'm used to hearing the same thing for real. I am. I'm just lazy, and I use the word with the least number of syllables. Like, oh, we're bouncing off of this resistance line, but no, we are rejecting there. All right, we just got to get away from the VWAP again. Just wondering if you have any idea how I can get rid of this no evals thing. I haven't heard back from anyone. It was supposed to, oh, baby. You're not getting off of, you're not getting off of that anytime soon. Oh yeah, I don't know if you guys heard, but Take Profit Trader removed their daily loss limit, which is great because a lot of people just didn't like them because of the daily loss limit being a hard breach, and they have now gotten rid of that, which is really nice. 60. Oh. Well, that invalidated itself. 16. That was a valid trade, but it validated at the last second. You motherfucker. I didn't really even think it would work out. I needed the delta to be less than 16. It ended up being 10. Of course it did. It always does it. Definitely would have gotten filled as well, for sure. But I had to be really careful with the delta needing to be so little. But anyway, so yeah, they removed the daily loss limit, which I'm excited about. I mean, for other people mainly, because it doesn't really affect me like that. But it is nice that they did that, because that was most people's gripe with them. All right, that's not valid. You know, a lot of companies that have daily loss limits, it's a soft breach, but theirs was always a hard breach, whether in eval or in a PA account. So, or pro account is what they call it. So they've gotten rid of that, which is nice. I really did not expect. It's so annoying when I need the delta to be so small, and it kind of was flipping back and forth. So, and a lot of times with that particular trade, when it invalidates, it rejects so hard that I would not be able to get out of the trade if I, get into it, realize it's wrong, and try to break even. It'll reject and get me out of there super fast. I'll lose. So I'm kind of still teetering back and forth between, do I just go ahead and enter and try to get out, or do I just sit out, and if I can validate it in time, I can always put a buy click order in. Um, but the way I've been getting screwed lately, I think I'd rather just sit my ass out and get in after I validate it. But yeah, I want to say pullback for going up and down is too much to think about. I say pullback for going up or down. I definitely do. Because it's still a pullback no matter what. Whether you're in an uptrend or a downtrend, it's still a pullback. So that I do. I do. I do. I'm not gonna lie. While I'm waiting on this to do something, I'll show y'all this. So, excuse me. So I needed there to be a trap here of the sellers because there was more volume in this swing down than the previous swing down. So obviously the sellers are starting to take control, right? So I want to trap them. And if you look inside of the point of control, I don't know if you can see it on your screen, but it's red in there to let you know that the sellers are in control of the trend, right? And because there is no level attached to my entry bar, I needed the delta to be less than the previous delta. So this delta was 6. Oh, that's the wrong one. The delta's somewhere up in here, but it was 16 and it ended up being 10. So it ended up working out, but I didn't honestly expect it to. Move out of my way. But yeah, so, and it validated last second. So it's like that sometimes. I miss a trade like that. That's cool. All right, we're finally trying to do something, but not much just yet. We're kind of stuck where my middle half trend changed to an uptrend. We're rejecting. We're rejecting the change. So I kind of want to see us trade above here in order for me to feel comfortable trading. Right edge. All right, there we go. Okay, now you're doing too much. All right, I was gonna look to get into this sell, but I can't. The zigzag is attached to the previous bar, which is very annoying. And it worked out too. That one, I'm not really sure why I didn't well, even if it reattached, I wouldn't have been able to take. Oh, I thought it was attached on you guys' screen, but yeah, it was attached to the previous bar, so I couldn't take it. Set up perfect too, aside from that. But I've been getting burned too much when that zigzag is not attached to the actual bar. Halfway on the account. Yep. Yeah, I'm not trading the top step accounts. They're not even in my trade copier anymore. I had to turn the copier off because I hit the, well, I have it to where it automatically closed me out when I was $1,500 in profit on that account. I mean, on that trade. And so once you factor in commissions, that's what gets the 1450. So I'm only trading the take profit account. And then the Apex accounts I can't trade because Trade-of-8 has a halt right now. That's how I ended up missing one of the trades. Having to switch accounts. I forgot about the halt. And the crazy thing is, before I snoozed my alarm and went back to sleep, I had just looked in the Discord and saw that people were saying it was still halted. But once I went to sleep, it got out of my mind. So I just forgot. So that first trade I tried to take, it was like trading halted. I'm like, and that was my leader account. So, all right, zigzag attached to that bar. I hate when that happens because then I have to manually calculate the volume. Oh, well, it's more than that one. That one's an easy one to calculate, and it doesn't matter. Zigzag still. All right, where did we change down there? Cool. Let's see the 5-minute chart. Yeah, all of my trades today have been pretty good, honestly. Even the one I just missed, this is the 5-minute chart, and my buy was somewhere up in here. Not too bad. And it pretty much worked out to where as soon as we kind of broke this wick right here is when my trade ended up coming about. Now we just got to see if we can break this support level slash resistance level up there, which also has the prior low inside of it. They're at the same exact price. So we got to see if we're going to break through there. And there's a VWAP level there as well. The first deviation, the first upper deviation level. All right, let's see. That bar would close right on it. All right, so we're rejecting off the prior low right now. So hopefully the Apex issue gets fixed because It renews on Wednesday, and I'm gonna be very mad if it don't get fixed tomorrow, because I am gonna try to full port it tomorrow. Still gonna trade my strategy, but instead of 6 contracts, I'm gonna use 10, and we'll just see what happens. All right, 19. Pull back too far. I was hoping that we kind of reverse back up here. I don't want the half trend going through the body of the entry bar, and we've pushed down even further, so still kind of rejecting there. But yeah, I'm gonna full port that tomorrow. The take profit account is like 2 weeks from renewal, so that's why I'm just doing 2 contracts, because once I get in PA, that's probably what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a mini per 1,000 in drawdown that I have, but I'm gonna give myself like $500 of wiggle room. So basically, like when I am at 2,500 in profit or drawdown is when I will change to 2 minis, or if I'm 3,500 in, I'm gonna change to 2 minis, that kind of thing. And I actually, in my risk management video, that chart that I showed, I put that on the back of my cheat sheet, so it's really easy, because otherwise I have like these little stickies and they're really tiny, like little stickies. So for 77, well, I was looking for a buy there, but the sellers were still in control. It was a sell delta bar, negative delta bar. But anyway, so yeah, I put that on the back of my cheat sheet so that it's very easy for me to see how many contracts I need to kind of start the day with. I'm probably not gonna like keep switching back and forth throughout the day. It's more so gonna be whatever I start with is what I'm gonna end with, kind of thing. But yeah, I'll just use that risk management chart. Kind of go from there. 31. Full pour, you putting a switch on the entry? No, I'm not changing the entry. I'm just doing 10 contracts. And that's only because I lost a day today, because if I would have been trading today, even if I only took the 1 trade, I would be, well, not on that particular account. Well, that particular account, I would be like up $1,000 on it or whatever. Even with just the 1 trade or whatever so far. So yeah, I'm not gonna change how I'm entering the trades whatsoever. 35. I'm just gonna change the number of contracts, that's all. That's it, that's all. 37. Nope. I needed that to pull back 1 more tick. I like when it's a double bottom or double top divergence. I really honestly prefer if it actually like goes off of the prime high or low. It was 1 tick away from it, so I didn't take it. And I just looked back at that over the weekend, and a lot of times if it doesn't touch it, it doesn't work out. Yeah, it was 1 tick away. But yeah, so we're gonna do 10 contracts, which means I'll be risking 940 to make 860. And I need 2,500 to pass the account, which means I need to be positive 3 trades tomorrow, basically. It's gonna feel so weird doing 10 contracts, but we got to. So let's just keep our fingers crossed that the trade of eight issues are no longer a thing after today. But the thing is, they've been having this issue for like probably what, over a week now, because didn't they have to reset people's accounts because of it already? Damn it, I couldn't sell click in. Fuck, I missed it. Delta changed at the last second again. I almost was able to sell click in, but then it just took off. Fuck. That also is something, that order flow pattern is not embedded in my head because I just kind of added it like early last week. But I basically noticed over the last month that this setup has been happening a lot and it's been winning a lot. So I had to go through and kind of figure out how I can get into it, and it worked out. By the time I realized I could sell click in, we were kind of like down here, and you can see we just skipped straight through. So there was this initial rejection, but I missed that one. Fuck. I would be so up today. But like I always say, this is one of the problems when you're adjusting things. You got some rules in your head that shouldn't be there anymore. And I used to not take that trade at all. No, like a switch makes you a full port. Oh, Trenches, you know I don't speak that language. You are crazy. But yes, that's gonna be me tomorrow. Hopefully. Have they made an announcement yet? But yeah, you had people who were like reaching their threshold and they had like, oh, wait. Restoration complete. You motherfuckers. You resolved the recent issue. Negative P&L or liquidated balances. Reset to start of day. Positive restored. All accounts are now fully operational. All right. Well, I'm not going to turn my Apex accounts on now. It's 15 minutes left, but so we'll be full port tomorrow. Scalp 2 trades on crude up 370 and still. Girl, turn your frown upside down. Oh man, I'm mad at myself for missing those last 2 trades. I missed 4 today so far. 4. All winners. I don't think I missed any losers so far today. But nice job though. Nice job on the scalps. But turn your frown upside down. Because you might be red over there, but you're green over here. Okay? All right, let's see if we can get far enough away from the VWAP for me to still get another trade in, because I still am going to take it if I catch it. It's kind of not far enough away. All right, there we go. The pullback might not work though, because I need the volume in this swing up to be less than 276. So I highly doubt it works out, but we'll see. And there you go. Invalidated immediately. Okay, well, VWAP's still there, so I can't do anything here. Unless we pull back to the major half trend back there, then we might be able to do something. But if we reject here, it's a no. Get away from the VWAP. I'm happy you're green though, and you happy you green too. We happy we all green. Trenches, what are you doing today? How's your trading going today? Because you ain't said nothing. Did increase my withdrawal goal to 75,000 this year. What's that emoji for? You got it. Your withdrawal from your personal account? But that's okay, because 370 for today, let's be real. That's not the numbers that you're used to, no, but it still helps with the compounding, right? Dang it. How many trades did I miss since I've been on the stream? Two? I think two. And then the one I purposely set out of that would have just broken even. Mm. 13 minutes left. Today, actually, I'm not gonna lie to you, I did not expect for today to be as decent as it was. Mainly because it's a Monday with no news at all. And usually the Mondays with no news are like, but today was actually really nice. My fault for missing trades I shouldn't have missed, but today was nice. All right, can we push through here? No. I want to see us trade below where we just changed to a downtrend. See, all the levels are in order. Okay, or you could do what you want to do. That works too. Have to change my take profit trader banner on the affiliate site. Are you gonna reject again? Yes, you are. And anytime something looks like this, where like we have a pullback, but the entry bar closes inside of where we just changed to a downtrend, I never take those trades. So that's why I set out like I have to wait until we actually break it. Because the last two times we changed, we rejected immediately. All right, now let's see what we get. No, don't come back. Freaking zigzag. Oh my god. It was almost a setup. It was almost a setup. It was almost a setup. But you see, I just kept myself out of a loss. First of all, the zigzag was attached to the previous bar. And also, because of that, it hit the half trend to the tick. So it didn't like go one tick beyond it. And so whenever that happens, I can't take that trade anyway. So it was like a double-edged no. And I would have gotten wicked out just for it to go where I wanted it to go. Positive delta in that bar. 40. There's an imbalance. I could see that's not going to set up well. Maybe it will now. This thing doesn't know what it wants to do. Oop, just invalidated. That one invalid. That buy invalidated at the last second, and it lost 124. Why does the market hate me? 55. All right, we got like 5 minutes left. Damn, I wanted to take the rejection there. All right, sorry, I gotta come back, you guys. You read about 200 bucks. It's not bad. You can recover from that. Been 2 personal accounts last week, creating my own Paul. Period. Personal account, yes, missed my withdrawal goal of 50K last year by 16K, so the goal is up to 75K. You got this though, because think about it. The adjustments that you made, especially once you started using order flow and stuff, when you started incorporating that, you started to make some nice progress. And that wasn't super early into the year either. So I personally, I got faith in you. I think you could do it. Micros all the way. Exactly. Good morning, Radad. Radad, not Radad. Good morning, Radad. Scalping number 130. You done for the day? Nice. So it's that 500, right? Can you give a quick overview on what scalping is, or do you recommend reading a... Well, good morning, Raise Up Lawn Care and Property Maintenance. So scalping is defined different for different people, right? You have some people who define it from a standpoint of how long you're in a trade, and then you have other people who define it based off of how many ticks or how many points you go for in the trade. So by 46, 33. Damn, I could have self-clicked into that. Good morning, San. That really just, I'm gonna tell you, I was trying to get into this trade, but this threw me off because I had to make sure that the volume was correct, which it was. This is also a trade I just really added in last week as well. So I kind of sometimes get a little hesitant because I'm like, oh, I remember I didn't used to take this at all, but I should have. I tried to sell click into it though, but again, because I'm trading momentum, what happens is by the time I kind of validate it, sometimes I'm all the way down here and we didn't really have another pullback, right? These first 3 bars I would have been filled on, but once I get down here and I'm like, oh shoot, let me sell click in, it wouldn't have mattered. We took off after that. The delta was kind of close to where I couldn't take the trade also. I needed the delta to stay under 46. It ended up being 33, but right before it turned to 33, it was around 40. So it was a little too close for comfort. But either way, so yeah, so some people define it on how long you're in a trade. Other people define it on how many ticks you take. So like I'll see people on YouTube, and this really irritates my soul, but you'll see people who, let me get a risk to reward tool in here. Where is it? I can't even see that far. Up here. So you'll see them draw like something like this. Damn, that's not a good example. Hold on, I'll just draw it with a zone or something. So you'll see that they'll be like, oh yeah, here's my entry, here's my stop loss, and my take profit is down here. That's not a god dang on, that's not a scalp. And sometimes I feel like they just use the word scalp just because they know that they can get a lot of views from it, just because a lot of people are looking to learn how to scalp because they want to be in and out. They don't want to sit here in the market all day, or you know, they don't want to deal with the trailing drawdown if they're trading a prop firm account or whatever. But to me, I think it's a combination of how long you've been in a trade and how many ticks or points you go for. Because for some people, they're like, oh well, 10 points on the Nasdaq is a scalp. I don't really know about that. Even if, like, all right, I'll give you a good example. The trade that I took right before I got on the stream, which unfortunately was my only trade today, because I've missed stuff. The trade that I took, we were in an uptrend or a downtrend? I don't even freaking remember. Oh, I think we were in a downtrend. Yeah, it's this trade right here. So that trade was my typical 4.5 points that took profit in 1 second. Okay. However, because it took profit in 1 second, my followers, the take profit order for the followers didn't even get on the screen in time, and it actually rejected the order because we were beyond it at that point. And so my followers didn't take profit until down here, which it ended up being, oh gosh, I ended up getting like 14, almost 15 points out of that trade in like, let's see, 27 seconds. So in about 30 seconds. That number of points isn't, it's a lot, but not at the same time, because I mean, I usually go for 4.5, right? But to take profit in 30 seconds, that many points, that's still kind of considered a scalp, right? But you have some people that'll be in a trade, that same 15-point trade, they're in it for like 5 minutes and they call it a scalp. I don't consider that a scalp. A while this morning with momentum opening around $400. Nice. Almost 75% recovering what you lost in December. Nice. Oh yeah, scalping is not for the faint of heart, honey. especially when I lose a trade so fast. When I get into a trade and the zigzag changes colors, I'm just like, shit. Now, a lot of times it's still gonna push through, but baby, before it does, ugh. But yeah, it's like it's nice to win that fast, but baby, when you lose that fast, and the biggest problem with me is because my trades are so momentum based, right? A lot of times when I lose a trade, it happens so fast that my stop loss doesn't even, the order doesn't even get entered. So now I have to flatten and I've lost like 50% more than what I should. That's the only thing that sucks about scalping to me is when that damn order. Now, if I just lose the trade, that's fine. But when I lose the trade, but I lose significantly more, like, there's been a couple of times where I lose like an extra 9 ticks. Well, I'm only 9 ticks doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're only going for 18 ticks, 9 ticks extra is a lot. And that's been happening to me recently. Losing the trade so fast, I have to flatten all, and now I lost $140 on a trade instead of 94. Not okay. Not. I usually do a couple scalps and reversals. Scalping more so on price than time. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's how I feel too, trenches. But if you define it as like price or how many ticks you go for on the NASDAQ, what would you define a scalp on the NASDAQ? Because some people say 40 ticks, but I think 40 ticks is a lot. But at the same time, this is the other thing though, because I'm entering on Renko candles, right? Price has to, from the highest point in this candle to the close, price has to um reverse 32, 32, 33 tick. I always say 33 because it can sometimes reverse 32 but not close the bar. So it would have to reverse 33 ticks in order for me to even enter the trade. And so then I'm asking for another 18 ticks on top of that. So I'm really asking for like a 50 point a 50 tick reversal, if that makes sense, right? So that's kind of also the reason why it's like, mm, I guess maybe technically if somebody's going for 40 ticks on a traditional time-based candle, I guess maybe I could call that a scalp. Now, even though I'm only going for 4.5, the total of the move when I take profit is still basically 50 ticks. So maybe I can consider 40 a scalp. 10 points is a scalp to people who usually go, yeah, and that's true as well, Red. Exactly. That is also true. Like, if you're used to intraday swing trading and you're holding trades for multiple hours, or you're used to going for 30, 40, 50 points, but you got in and out for 10, absolutely, that's a scalp to you. Intraday swings for me, I'm seeking to wait for A++ setups, 4 to 6 trades a month. Yeah, and see, that works really well for you, mainly also because you are trading a personal account, right? Because sometimes the intraday swing trading, like I don't necessarily think that intraday trail and drawdown is predatory like some people think it is. I don't. And that's only because I'm thinking about it from a trader's perspective of how so many people lose in this game of trading because it's the psychology. And unfortunately, I think that so many people don't have the right strategy to go for these huge moves, or they see other people going for huge moves and they attempt to as well, and they're not taking profit along the way. So I think that the intraday trailing drawdown does force some people to realize, hey, I need to take my profits. Like I told y'all, I watch some people almost daily, and I've seen how switching to going for the bigger targets has actually made them less profitable than when they used to trade and go for just the 5 points, the 7 points. Now they're trying to go for 50, and I don't even think they are aware that they're less profitable because of them trying to go for the bigger moves. Oh yeah, Janelle has patience, honey. But yeah. All right, let me show y'all the accounts. I am so sorry that I didn't take any trades while I was on the stream. I'm sorry. Like I said, I tried to get into, there was a couple I tried to like click into, but we were already like 16 ticks into the move and I could see that we weren't going to come back. So there was no point. And then there was a couple that I just genuinely missed. Ain't nothing I can do about that. So I took just one trade. We are now pretty much halfway to passing both of the top step accounts again. It was just a technical error because that wasn't supposed to be like that. I was really only supposed to gain like 430 per account. But because the trade took profit so fast, there was no take profit. And I honestly, y'all, I promise y'all, I kept hitting flatten and nothing happened. And next thing you know, the risk manager took me out because we hit the $1,500 daily goal. So this is something that I really love about the risk manager. I didn't even technically have to take them out of the copy trader, but I just did it just in case. But basically, whenever the daily goal is hit, it takes me out, and then it's not going to allow me to trade the account anymore, even if it's still showing active in my trade copier. But we also made some decent progress on the take profit account as well. I'm going to continue trading 2 contracts per trade on that one, and I'm probably just going to do that from now on with all of the evals until we're trading in PAs again. And that's just what we're going to do. 60 plus, take scalping as a target. There's a lot of momentum and get out around 300 ticks, but that's rare. Yeah, and you see, Sam, but you see how you recognize how 300 ticks is rare, right? People aren't understanding market structure, market conditions well enough to know when and when you can't really go for the bigger moves. Like, to literally every single time you get into a trade, always have your take profit at 200 ticks is insane. Like, where is the identifying what the market looks like? And hey, we have a lot of wick congestion over here to the left, so let's just take profit here instead. But instead, you keep your take profit so low because you're, you know, if we're going for a sell, you keep it so low, and then it hits this area of congestion over to the left, and you have this huge bounce. Now, you already got out at your scalp, right? But you have this huge bounce back, and you're like, oh shit, well, let's just go ahead and break even because now we're back to the entry point. So now you made less money than you could have if you would have just took both of your contracts out at the scalping point. Because the other problem is a lot of people who try to go for the bigger moves like that, a lot of people reduce their contract size down to micros, mainly because of the intraday trail and drawdown, but also because a lot of times they'll increase their stop loss to account for the bigger move as well. So now you're trading with less size, less risk, which sounds good, until you realize like, oh, I'm making significantly less money. Like, just go back to your 5 micros or your 8 micros or your 1 mini contract, go for the tighter stop loss that was working before and get out at the scalp point. You'll make way more money. No patience. Why is you YOLOing, Paul? Why are you YOLOing? Some people are up 100 ticks but want to manually move up the stop loss and then get booted. Yeah. And see, like when I was intraday swing trading with Renkos, I mainly was I would have a scalp point of I think 10 points. But then my second trade, I would just, the second contract, I would just let go until we had a reversal. So like, let's say I got in right here, right? My first contract would be gone around here, and then the second one would be gone up there. But I felt like it was cool with Renkos because I'm not really missing out on much. And a lot of times on Renkos, you know, when you're doing that counter trend divergence move, then once that first reversal bar paints, you need to get out. You know what I mean? So like, I'll give a good example. Is this one? Yeah, here's an example right here. I can't see what that So this was like 20 points actually. So this was from like a couple, maybe like 2 years ago or so. All right, so you could see my entry was, and this is crazy. Maybe it was 4 years. I have to look at this other screenshot. But either way, look at the price of the Nasdaq back then. What? We've almost doubled. So my entry was 11,801.50. So my first target was 11,779.50. So pretty much about, what is that? No, that's, I can't count today. No, that is 20. So I went for 20 points initially, right? And then you could see that the second contract didn't get out until we had a reversal bar. And I was doing that consistently. And I'm pretty sure this is when I was trading my personal account. So here's another example here. This was on the same day. So you can see entry point 795.50, got out at 813. We changed trends here, and then you can see that I got out right at the reversal bar. So I was very methodical with it, right? And so that was from 2 years ago, it looks like. Or no. Here was another trade that I took from 2 years ago. Pretty sure this was, no, this was also divergence. I could see the line there. So this was divergence as well. My stop loss would be at the swing high point, right? Got out there, and I was literally still in the trade at this time. And I forgot how I used to trail. I don't even know why. Oh, I know why. So it was trailing. So the way that I set up the auto trail on NinjaTrader was basically it would follow the close of the bar, which is pretty much what I do now. Sometimes my trades are happening too fast for you to see it, but once we get like so many ticks into my trade, the auto trail is going to trail the close of the reversal bar until we get to the point where the auto break even triggers, and then we're fine there. But you could see that I was trailing. So if this bar would have closed up, it would have closed me right out. But yeah, that's how I used to trade. That's how I used to trade. Way less trades, yeah. 2 for the fits. Oh gosh, Paul, no. No. Tori Trades inspires you. Yeah, I love how she has really mastered not taking a lot of trades. My patience, no more swing trading for me. Sometimes people hold on to that first reversal candle hoping it goes up but lose out on profit. Yep. 1 year was a 40% year. Jeez Louise. I honestly want to see what ends up happening after Trump is in office. We've already kind of had like some pretty erratic days, and I'm just like, welcome back to the Trump era. But it's good for trading though. I'm not gonna lie, like the volatility is really nice, especially if you know how to capitalize off of it. Now if you don't, you're gonna get caught up in some shit patch, okay? But as long as you know how to capitalize. Miss making that 1K plus in 1 or 2 trades. Swear. Correction soon. Shit acting like it's trying to happen now. I haven't even looked, hold on, because I haven't looked beyond the 5-minute chart. That's usually all I look at. Let me look at, let's look at the daily. Except I want more days. So, are my charts frozen? They are. Oh, there we go. Okay, never mind. Why are you freezing? I don't understand. All right, I was trying to remove some of the stuff off of the daily chart so I can actually look at it. All right. So this is what the daily chart looks like. Please don't mind all of my drawings on my smaller charts. Oh. So it looks like we're getting pretty close to breaking the low back here. I mean, we've broken these two lows here, which that was a double bottom for the most part. I guess we'll see if we break this low. But definitely in a downtrend right now. Definitely. So we might see some more bleeding. Janelle, stop looking. Stop looking at your brokerage accounts. Please. Stop it. Just stop looking. But yeah, that's what we're looking like. That December 2024 was tough. Yeah. I was honestly afraid that January was going to look the same. I think you even mentioned that Friday, and I was like, please don't say that. Please. Please do not say that, because I can't take it. I cannot take December again. I can't. Please don't jinx us. 5% off the high. Oh, I just messed up my little 5-minute chart. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. I'm gonna go journal and sulk at all of my missed trades. I really have to figure out how I'm going to make sure I can get into these. I know what I'm gonna do. So instead of already having the you know how I usually like, all right, let's just get into it, and if it invalidates, let's get out. I think what I'm gonna do when the order flow is like changing back and forth between what I want and what I don't want, I think that's gonna be the moment where I just already have the sell click like already clicked and ready, and that way if it does validate itself, I can just click on the screen. Because what happens is I'm waiting for it to validate or invalidate, the bar closes, I then confirm, and then I'm trying to go over to my chart trader, click sell, click, and by the time I get back onto the chart to click in, it's gone. So maybe if I already have it kind of waiting, so I would do something like this. So I'm waiting for it to go, and I would just like be ready like this, right? Versus already having it on the chart and then trying to get out because it invalidated itself. So I think that's what we're going to try to do starting tomorrow. Just hoping after inauguration NQ goes up. It might. Who we gonna see? You're sulking all week. Janelle, girl, I'm not finna deal with you. No, you're not, because we're green today. But yeah, you guys, I thank you guys for tuning in. I'm gonna go journal and walk on the treadmill because I want to start working out again starting today. I've gotten my appetite back up, so it is safe for me to work out again. So I'm gonna go do that. I thank you guys for tuning in. Please like the video on your way out if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. But other than that, I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, guys.